Hello, thank you for your interest in joining our staff here at YMCA Camp Greenville. My name is Jenna Johnson and I'm the Director of Camping, which essentially means I oversee all aspects of summer camp, and I also lead the team of supervisors that you are about to meet following in this video. I've been here at Camp Greenville. This will be my 9th summer at camp, and my favorite activity at camp is anything to do with the waterfront or hiking on our beautiful property. So in this video, the goal is for you to understand a little bit more about us, about camp, about our staff structure, and for you to learn and write down any questions that you have, which you'll have the opportunity to submit those to us before your interview. Then in your interview, you will actually have the chance to learn more about the individual role that you applied for, as well as how that fits into the overall picture of camp and those specific details. But we are going to walk through the staff structure and the camp structure, and you will meet the supervisors in the video that you may have the opportunity to have an interview with. So let's go ahead and get started. Next, to tell you a little bit about our staff structure is Alex, our Director of Family Programs.
Hey everyone, my name is Alex Beavers and I'm the Director of Family Programs here at Camp Greenville. Along with our 5 different family camps that we run, I also oversee our summer program team here at camp. That includes program areas like the waterfront, archery, high ropes, things like that. I've been at Camp Greenville this will be my 4th summer this year, and my favorite part about camp is when all of our campers get to try new things and when they get to make new friends. It's probably my favorite part about camp. Our seasonal staff for the summer is made up of about 70 to 80 staff members. We have some international staff that come overseas, which is really exciting. We also have a lot of returning staff too that come back after being here for 10 years as a camper, or they go through our leadership development program. And the rest of our staff is made up of people just like you who may have gotten to this because you were referred to by a friend or somebody who works at camp. So plenty of new staff who are also joining us on our team as well too. So we have a few different buckets of staff that we look at for the summer. So we have our counselors, which we call cabin leaders at camp. So our cabin leaders are the ones who are in it with the kids. They're sleeping in the cabins, they're leading our kids through the majority of their day. They're making sure they have a really positive experience overall. Our second bucket, if you will, is going to be our program staff, which is the staff that I oversee for the summer. So our program staff run all of the different activities at camp. They do not stay in cabins with the kids, so they are in their own housing with other staff members. So they run activities like archery and high ropes and the waterfront. So for example, we will hire a team of program lifeguards, for example, and their only job when they come to camp is to be a lifeguard and ensure the safety of our campers at the waterfront, and they will live in housing with other staff members, but their program area and ownership is over the waterfront. So that was what the program team does. An example of how this looks like is if a cabin were to go to archery, for example. So the program staff that leads archery is the archery coordinator. So they're the ones that are going to run the activity. They're facilitating, they're teaching the skill to kids, and the cabin leader is there, but they're there to manage the group dynamic. They're there to manage the kids. If any problems come up, that's what that staff is there for. That's what that cabin leader is there for. So that's what that looks like. Next, I'd like to introduce Daquan Williams, our Director of Leadership Programs, to tell you about our program structure.
Hi, I'm DQ Williams, or Daquan, whichever you'd like to use, and I'm our Director of Leadership Programs. What that means is I get to oversee our leadership development program, which involves our teenage age campers and potential future staff members. I also get the lovely opportunity to facilitate hiring processes and our staff training process for all our camp staff this summer as well too. Camp is kind of broken up into 2 different programs. We have Adventure and then we have Base Camp. Base Camp is the name that we use for our traditional style camping. So kind of what you would see in a movie or what you would see in a camp style TV show. Base Camp is really awesome. Tell you a little bit about how the day goes. So in the morning, our cabins wake up and they will they'll come to breakfast, and after breakfast, they'll do something we call morning shine, which is like an inspirational start of the day that all of our cabins get to go through. And then from there, they'll separate into their what we call morning activities that they will do in their cabins specifically. So whether those activities include archery or rock climbing or going to the waterfront, they'll do those activities as a cabin. They'll do that all morning, and then before you know it, it'll be lunchtime. We have lunch, and right after lunch we have what we call rest hour, which is time to kind of recuperate for the rest of the day. And then just after rest hour, we do something called truddy time. Truddy is a term that we use for three buddies, or triple buddy, if you will. And all the kids get to travel around in groups of three or more to do a kind of a self-select activity. So similar activities to what they would have been doing in the morning. So if they find something particularly intriguing, they can go back to that, or they can try some of the new and creative stuff that our staff will get to run. Like sometimes they will play games, and sometimes they'll create different kind of art projects. So, but really, we focus on the selection, the choice that the kids get to make as a group, and they get to work out like what they will do all afternoon. Once truddy time is over, they'll reconvene back into their cabins, or we call it rendezvous. And then once they're back at their cabins, they'll get ready for dinner time. And once dinner is over, then they do what we call an evening program. And our evening program is where the kids, usually as all of camp or a particular division, will do an evening program activity that involve running all over camp, potentially getting messy, finding some things, and really to support that big cabin unity aspect of camp, which we really love. And so the kids have a lot of fun, the staff have a lot of fun, because we're all running around, jumping and playing together. So yeah, that's a little bit about base camp. I'm gonna pass it over now to Mark Mosley, who's our director of camper programs, who's gonna tell you a little bit more about Adventure.
My name is Mark Mosley, and I'm the director of camper programs here at YMCA Camp Greenville. This will be my 6th summer, and I'm in charge of all the ins and outs of operations across all of our summer camp programs. And not just camper magic and culture and having a good time, but also for our staff and ensuring that you have a fantastic summer as well. My favorite part about camp is obviously anything outside, because I do a lot with Adventure. So our pack out program, our overnight programs, just being outside around campfires, having those really wonderful community experiences and outdoor experiences is just my favorite part about anything to do with camp. So for our Adventure programs, our campers show up check in on Sunday, and they're here Sunday night, Monday night, and then Tuesday they leave camp for Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and you come back on Friday, and then everybody checks out on Saturday. So that's kind of that weekly structure. And then we have our 5th and 6th grader Adventure program, and that program is a mix of being on camp, camping on our property on one of our campsites on our 1,400 acres, but then also doing some day trips within that. So like maybe doing some climbing and camping here, but then going to do a really cool like tubing trip on a river off camp and then coming back. And it's a mix of a bunch of stuff. For our middle school aged, with D3 age kids, they get to choose between different themed trips. So whitewater, mountain biking / climbing, lakes and rivers, caving trips. And again, those 3 days that they're out, they will go do those activities. So you, as a staff member, will get to help lead those things. The trips are all co-ed, and they're consisted of a trip leader, and they are like it says, the leader of that trip, taking care of medications, driving the bus, logistics, handling money, all those kinds of things, and then also just supervising and running that trip. And then the female cabin leader and the male cabin leader, they're mostly in charge of camper behavior and management, but also help with some of those logistics and help the trip leader maybe teach some skills as well, like outdoor living and the camping stuff when you're at our campgrounds. So that's kind of how our adventure trips work. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Stacy Simpson, our Director of Communications, who's going to go over the summer schedule and the next step in your application process.
Hello, my name is Stacy Simpson, and I am the Director of Camp Communications at Camp Greenville. I am the connector between all of the amazing things that are happening at camp and our camp families at home, particularly camp parents who are very curious about what's going on at camp. So I specifically work with our camp communications team, which include our photographers, because they are capturing all the magic of camp, and then we are sending all of that home to parents to share the experience with them. I have been officially on the staff team at Camp Greenville for less than a year, but I've been connected with camp for the last 7 or 8 years. So it is really so fantastic to be now ingrained in the camp community, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you as well. So I want to tell you a little bit about the next steps after you finish this video of what will happen next in your application and interview process. So now you've learned so much from our team. We've all had a blast sharing with you throughout this video, and we hope that you're ready for the next steps. So if you are, we want you to, as soon as this video ends, click on the next steps button that you see here on the screen, and that will take you to a spot to fill out a few questions about your experience watching this video and about you, and then you will be prompted to schedule your virtual interview with one of our hiring managers. So make sure you know who invited you to watch this video, because that is the person's name that you will select when you get to the scheduling page. If for some reason none of the available times work within your schedule, please reach back out to the hiring manager and let them know your availability so that you can schedule one-on-one. If you have any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, we are looking forward to connecting with you soon.